All right, you guys, we are back with another word, and I'm super excited to share this word with you. So today we're discussing confronting triggers. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, hats off to Sarah Jakes Roberts, okay, because that's my girl. And so she had a word on glory triggers. I'll put that link in the description below. But honey, let me just tell you something. So she was discussing confronting triggers. And I'm not gonna lie, your girl was just a little bit uncomfortable. But when she was going on to describe what triggers are and how sometimes we just think that a trigger is something that we identify and we can just say, that's something that makes me uncomfortable and move on. But that's not what she was saying. She was preaching on how there are triggers that happen for us, not to us, but for us, and how now we are in a position to confront that trigger. What I really loved that she was expressing is that you can now go back to that trigger and confront it, because who you are today is not who you were then. I think God really allows triggers to happen for us, not to us, so we can confront it and say, you know what? I am no longer you. You are now in a position to go back to that trigger and say everything that you wanted to say beforehand. And so when she said that, I was like, oh wow, like that is true. So when was the last time you've confronted a trigger or a situation or an episode that happened in your life that was probably traumatic and it has put you in an uncomfortable position? But the reason I think that I was avoiding it is because of the fear that was keeping me away, right? So over time, I thought about it and I said, you know what? I'm no longer going to allow this trigger to control me, because when you allow something to control you, you don't have peace in that area. So for you, what is it that is trying to keep a stronghold or trying to keep you in fear? Because when you are in that space, that is when you can't be your full authentic self. Just saying. So all the things that I gathered from this sermon was confronting triggers looks like you confronting a situation that you're uncomfortable with, that maybe gives you fear or anxiety or something that puts you in a state that maybe in your mind puts you back in that place, but really you are a new person today. So going back to that space does not define you of who you are now. You actually have so much control in you to where you confront that trigger and you can say, you know what? I am no longer that version of myself. I'm no longer that person of who I used to be. And you can give it new language now. And when she said that, I said, it was like light bulbs went off. Like, what? Yes. I'm going to go back to that trigger, to that situation, and I'm going to give it new language. Honey, when I say this is for you. You have to remind yourself that don't allow your past or a situation or a trigger or anything that you are fearful of define of who you are today, because who you are today is a lot better than who you used to be yesterday. But you know what? I said, I'm no longer thinking like that anymore. And who I am today is looking at my experience, is looking at my environment a lot differently. Because when you realize you have an assignment on your name, you no longer look at your situation as, oh, I don't want to be here, or as fearful, or it's something that God is doing to me. It's really for you. So when you look at it in a different perspective, honey, you start to move differently. So I hope you enjoyed this mini vlog of the day, because it was just for you.